On the air from coast to coast, Mark Daniels, Artist Spotlight.
Good evening and welcome to Artist Spotlight, and I'm your host, Mark Daniels. Well, joining me for our conversation tonight is the incredible music artist, Soulfia. Now, Soulfia is a singer, songwriter, and she's an author, as well as someone who is an inspiration and mentor to others in the entertainment industry and who has very strong ties to the Motown sound, as you'll find out shortly. So it gives me immense pleasure and joy to welcome Soulfia to Artist Spotlight. Soulfia, I want to first start off by welcoming you to Artist Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Mark. What an honor. I'm so grateful that you even asked me to join today. You are such an inspiration. You've been in radio so long, and when I got the call, I was like, oh, me? I'm so honored, of course. So thank you, Mark.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so very, very much for saying that. You know, Soulfia, you have such a rich musical lineage in your family. You're the granddaughter of King Solomon. Your uncle was a co-founder of Motown. And your other uncle was the legendary Smokey Robinson. Is that correct?
I grew up in music running through my veins. So as a little girl, I thought that everyone could sing. And I have 91 cousins. Not sure if you know, my grandfather has 21 children. I have over 90 cousins. And so my grandfather would be on tour and he would come and he would visit. I would be like 4 and 5 years old and he'd make everybody stand on the fireplace and we would be able to sing any song we wanted to sing. And I would always sing Whitney Houston and he would always give me a $100 bill. And I was like, wow, like my whole family sings. So this is normal. It wasn't until I got into like middle school and high school I started to realize, ooh, this is a gift. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So I started to take music really seriously after that. And then upon graduating high school, I got a scholarship to AMDA, American Music and Dramatic Academy. And I called my grandpa and I'm like, hey, Grandpa, I need $25,000 by next Thursday because I'm going to go to New York City and I'm going to study theater and music. And he goes, wait, pump your brakes. How about you come to California? And if you want to be in entertainment, we're going to have boots on the ground training and we're going to go on the road. And you can start school here in California. So I moved to Calabasas. I had just turned 18 right after my 18th birthday, graduated high school. I entered into college and I went on tour. My very first tour was with James Brown and my grandpa. And along that tour, I ran into like all of the greats. And I'm just like blown away, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work, but I love it. However, make a long story short, I realized that music was definitely my purpose through it all. But I did finish college. My grandfather wanted to make sure that I studied, so I studied communications, and I got my degree. And I really realized that it's so important to have balance in life, even if you have gifts and desires, because we have more purpose than one. So I'm also a mom, as you know, Mark. We had that awesome conversation. So I'm able to balance all of it. And it sometimes is a juggle, but it's so worth it.
Well, as you mentioned, Soulfia, you were surrounded by music growing up, and you had amazing opportunities to go on tour with artists such as James Brown, as well as performing live yourself. But when you grew up and you started your education, what made you say that pursuing a career in the music industry was the direction that you yourself truly wanted to go in? Out of all of the things that you could do in the entertainment industry or any industry, that a career in music was your true calling and purpose?
Absolutely. Imagine being a 17, 18-year-old girl on stage at Glastonbury and Bonnaroo, these big, even Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland, and there are hundreds of thousands of people, and people are like camping out, and they have, concerts from morning to night. And when we got on stage, it was a feeling that I never felt before, because not only were we singing about love and blues and soul, we also like got a chance to like minister and pray with people who didn't have faith. People that I've seen my grandfather pray over people while we're on stage that like couldn't get pregnant and couldn't have kids. He would literally, lay hands on these people, and like to see the power that he had by just manifesting and praying over people, like it changed my life and my perspective. So I was like, wow, like on top of my purpose and my gifts, I'm also able to minister in a way to where people's lives are changed forever. And I even do that today. Like I'm in the studio with made rappers and, hip hop artists. And just recently I had an encounter with a new rapper, and she's like, I don't pray, I don't have faith, and I don't know what it means to know God, but I really would like to, because you are a beautiful example of what God's love is. And that really touched my heart, because this artist is 20 years old. They're on their way to, hopefully, great things. But when you're a leader, you have to lead by example at all times. And so that can be difficult in times, like being in the entertainment industry. But I saw my grandfather and I saw my Uncle Smokey, my Uncle Mickey, just be able to change every year and every day for the better. Obviously they're older now and they're 90s and things like that, but they made history in a way that music is never the same. Like breaking artists like Marvin Gaye and the Temptations and all these amazing artists. At the same time, the music that they made was not only about love, it was also about faith, and it was also to make the world a better place. So that is when I knew. I said, you know what? I have to entertain, but I also have to be a light in this dark world, because it's not getting any better.
No, it's not. And you touch on an important point, that music can touch people's lives. You don't know who's in that audience. You don't know what they're going through. Music heals, it inspires, it helps us celebrate, and it helps us dry our tears. And you, Soulfia, as the artist, if the world is dark, you, Soulfia, are the sun that brings the light, warmth, and comfort to the world through your music. Now, Soulfia, I've listened to your songs, and you blend both pop and soul. Now, what draws you to that particular combination?
Well, my tone has always been very soulful since I was a little girl. And I love pop because it's to the masses. And I also am a dancer. I danced professionally when I first moved to Los Angeles with Jennifer Lopez and Chris Brown. I did a couple music videos. So I love pop because it gives you a feeling that, it's a priceless feeling, something that you can't buy. And it makes you have a good time. And soul is just my tone. Like I was just born with soul, and I don't sing anything unless I feel it and it has purpose and meaning to me, and it could help move someone else.
Oh, that's so true. Now, Soulfia, you're not just a singer, but you're also a songwriter. Walk me through your process as a songwriter. For example, when you sit down to write, do you start with the lyrics, melody, or emotion first? Walk me through that process.
Songwriting is literally from the heavens. It might be 3:30 in the morning. I wake up out of my sleep and I'm like, I gotta get this melody down. I'll grab my phone and I'll go to my voice notes and I'll hum the melody or the lyric or whatever comes to me. And that's the start. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot the melody, or I'm so glad I recorded, because no song or no melody is just something that, especially if it's from your soul, it'll be like at the most random time. So my best songs are usually written at the midnight hour. And I build from there, because most of the ideas that I go with are definitely like spare of the moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to get this out. Or if I'm going through something, like heartbreak or frustration, I'll write it in my notes on my phone and I'll go to the studio and I'll be like, you know what, I'm in the mood for an up-tempo today. Let's try to do this. But I did an original Christmas song this Christmas, and I went in with this idea. I had already written a song called Christmas Dance, and I already told all my followers and things, hey, I got a Christmas dance song that's coming out. Then I get to the studio and the producer just didn't feel at the moment like what I was singing. He was like, oh, that's like Motown, that's old. So we created another song, and that song It actually did fairly well over the holidays. It's called Candlelight, but it had like a saxophone solo, and it was like a totally different vibe. But then after that song released, I think it was after the holiday around February, I was like, I got the Christmas dance song. I rewrote it. And he heard it and he was like, wow, this is amazing. We got to release this next Christmas, because it's like a pop soul dance song that everybody could dance to, and I don't think anybody's ever done it before. So it's just like random times where I get these song concepts and different ideas, but I never try to force songwriting, because then it's never fun.
So true. Now, there's a topic that's being widely debated in the music industry, which is AI, okay? And the fact that AI can now take any subject and scrape the internet for all of your work that you've done in the past and write a song exactly in your style. What are your personal thoughts as a songwriter? Do you feel that AI threatens the future of songwriters in the music industry?
You know what? That is a great question, Mark. Because if a producer tells you that they've never used AI for anything, they're definitely not telling the truth. But for songwriters, when you get writer's block, it's definitely something neat to have, but it's never to drive your song and to complete your song. You have to actually really feel what you're singing and really come from a emotional space to where you created it. You can't depend on computers. And another thing, like, I really can sing anything. I'm kind of like a tape recorder. So if I hear Mariah Carey, or I can hit the highs, I can do, every octave pretty much. But there's not very many people who can sound like a computer. They don't even take breaths. So for it to be competition with a human being who actually has real emotion and really has to breathe and really, be in the moment when they're performing, it's day and night. It's definitely a really good drawing, or outline for song structure, but no, you really actually have to do the work. There's no shortcuts to success. You got to go in, you got to cut the vocal, you got to, be in the moment. You have to feel what you're singing, because a lot of the AI songs that I've heard so far, it's just, it's on and on and on and on and on. And there's no flat notes, and it sounds good, but, can it be replicated? And when you're an actual real singer, you can use that if you have writer's block, or a moment where you're like, I need to flip this melody, and I gotta take a break off my ear from what I'm hearing and hear something else. It's great to listen, but you still have to put the work in. You still got to go in there and cut vocals. So I use it sometimes, but I don't make a habit of it, and neither do my producers, because we do live instrumentation.
And that's a beautiful thing. Real music by real musicians and singers.
And music is also a feeling. Like you said earlier, you were talking about how, you actually make someone feel better or put them in a mode. Have you ever heard a song, Mark, and it took you back to high school?
Oh yeah, all the time. Music can take me on so many different journeys and through so many emotions.
Exactly. So that's one of my points. It's like, you have to really, when you're a creative, you got to go in there and you have to be able to, like, create a painting or a piece of art that it's timeless. I don't want to make a song that's just for tomorrow and it's on the charts for maybe 2 weeks and no one ever hears the song again. I want to make something where my children's children would could listen to and love and enjoy and feel.
Now that's the power of music. It carries your heart, soul, and your faith. And as you said, that message will carry across generations.
I have to tell you a funny story. So Uncle Smokey wrote this song in 1953 or 52. I've Been Good to You, and I remixed it. And I call him up. I'm like, hey, I really want to do this song. But then my producer goes, you know what, Soulfia? He's like, your uncle's such a genius writer. Look at how everyone has had a friend that they brought this friend in. They've been good to this friend, and this friend breaks their heart. Mm-hmm. But the way that the song was written, it's such a clean way. It's like there's no profanity. You didn't say anything bad about the person. All you're literally saying is, I've been good to you, and this is what you've done to me. Mm-hmm. So, songwriting nowadays, sometimes I don't even understand what they're saying because it's so much reverb, so much auto-tune. And it's a good melody, but it's and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if my children will be able to replay this because I don't even know what they're saying. So that's why I love classic music, like by my uncle, my grandfather, because, even decades later, I can go and I can recut this vocal and it's saying the same thing. I've been good to you, So,
A thought that just came to my mind. You grew up surrounded by such a rich lineage in music, and you were surrounded by so much talent, especially when you went on tour and you worked with all the different artists. Who are some of the artists, or it could even be someone in your family? Is there someone that helped shape your sound?
well, I spent the most time with my grandfather. So the Rolling Stones, being able to tour with them at a young age and work with such an amazing rock band, and for them to cover Everybody Needs Somebody, that's like pop soul. So that's kind of where I get my sound from, because being on tour with my grandfather, I was also his assistant for so long. I spent the most time with him. So even coming from a faith perspective, he would always minister and pray with people. So I kind of it's kind of genetic for me to be like a natural, loving, serving, healer, positive light, because that's mostly what I've been exposed to pretty much my whole life. And then coming from a big family, it's a lot of us, and there may be different mothers or different, growing up in different households. Like I grew up in North Carolina because my dad was in the Army, but I always would come to California because my family was here. And when I turned 18, I was like, I really want to be in show business and I want to live in California. But my dad, he was a Dominican soldier, hardworking, and he knew that was something that I wanted to do, and he wanted to support me. But he would tell my mom, hey, because my mom is the daughter of Solomon, he would be like, hey, she wants to do this music thing and we have to protect her, so we can't let her go until she's 18. And looking back, I'm really grateful, because I didn't move to California to pursue my career until I was well groomed. My parents were married forever, my whole life, and I was able to have that foundation and that structure, because the entertainment industry is very some of the things I've seen on tour and seen and it's just whoa, that's unethical, but okay. And you have to be able to turn the other cheek and just kind of stay in your lane. So I've been exposed to so much at such a young age. I've been able to just continue to keep my faith and be on the right path. I've never done drugs in my life. I've never smoked. I never drink. So I use my voice and I protect my voice. So usually, I'm probably the only singer who's who can say that I've, just protected my voice.
Soulfia, you and I had a very beautiful conversation earlier. And a question I feel is very, very important to ask you, because well, it's not lost on you or even myself that many artists are either desperate for success, or somewhere along the way during their musical journey, they lose or compromise their values or their moral direction. And you and I talked about the importance of prayer and faith. Now, for artists that lose their way or they lose their integrity when they start seeing some fame, or they start buying into the unethical things that come along with the fame, from the partying and drugs, etc. When you look back, when you were on your own as an artist, and even up to today, when people come at you, or you face a situation that may potentially compromise your own integrity, how did you hold on to your faith and integrity as a woman and as an artist?
Well, you got to understand, I grew up in show business. There's no business like show business. So I've been trained from a young age to know who I am and whose I am and my identity. I grew up in a Bible Belt state, which was North Carolina, and just a lot of prayers over me. I know my grandfather would say, bless my children's children for generations to come. And just being able to be coached up and to be able to, like I told you in the beginning, I had boots on the ground training at 17, 18 years old. And some of the stuff I'd seen, we could talk about it off the interview, but I really, it really prepared me to be on my own and to be able to stand my ground, have integrity. And then another thing, it's probably the reason, my discipline is probably the reason why my life is so blessed now. I have been married for over 10 years and my husband is an NFL player. We have an awesome friendship. We're best friends and we understand each other. And I think the blessings that are over my life and over my children's life are because of my discipline and because of my faith. And I just have integrity, Mark. Like, I can't explain to you how, much that matters to me. Like, I could never sell my soul. I'm already, well off and successful in other, aspects of life. I'm a real estate developer, and I'm not willing and dealing, as my grandfather would say. So I don't have to make decisions for a dollar. I have integrity since the day I was born, because whenever you're born into the music business, you've grown up in it, you've seen it, you're around it. It's just another day, And for me, I feel like there's so much more purpose and so much more peace whenever you do the right thing.
Now, would you say that prayer and your faith was your armor that you relied on when you were first starting out to be able to avoid situations that might compromise your integrity, morals, and values?
Oh, absolutely. I've had solo record deals with major labels before I was even married, and 18 years old, 20 years old, like, never moved. You guys got to understand, Uncle Smokey, my Uncle Mickey, they're the founders of Motown. Since they're like 15 and 16 years old. Being raised by those Detroit guys and my grandfather, I was exposed to all of it. And so it's kind of like you have a warning and you know what not to do, and you have a family legacy. So I didn't want to upset my family. I never wanted to them to come back and say, oh, well, you saw your granddaughter and, never, because my grandfather used to say, all you have is your word, and my word is my bond. That's it. And my integrity. So definitely you can ask a lot of big wigs about me, and they'll let you know the same thing.
Now, Soulfia, you're a singer, songwriter, a real estate developer, and you're a mom of two and a wife. So how do you balance a family life with your music career?
Oh my goodness. I have the best support system. So my mom, she's 59. She's very much involved. She's also very understanding to the music business because she's the daughter of King Solomon Burke. So she grew up, in the industry. So she knows sometimes I won't get home till 3 a.m. because I'm recording. She also writes songs with me. My mom's a great singer and a great songwriter. So my kids, my 8-year-old is actually really good at music and singing. He plays violin. His voice is awesome. So my family's very understanding to my unstable schedule and calendar. Because there'll be times, sometimes it'll be like 12 o'clock at night. I'll be like, you know what, I got to get this melody out of my head. And I'll go to the studio, which is not far. Motown studio is like 15 minutes from my house. So I'll go at like 12 o'clock at night and I get it out, I record it, and then I'll come back home. And my husband is an athlete. So when he was in NFL, we were dating. I never asked him, like, why do you have to be at practice from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.? Like, he understands that in order to, be the best, it takes work. So he never complains. He's always like supportive. Please go do your work. And I love having that balance and that support and that structure. I also have Poppy, my father-in-law, who stays with us 6 months out of the year. So I have so much family support, and they're all my biggest cheerleaders.
That is indeed a blessing. Now, Soulfia, what does a typical day look like for you when you're juggling a personal life along with your music career?
Ooh, a typical day. So I'm a gym rat. I don't care if I was in the studio till 2, 3 in the morning. I'm wake up and I'm getting my workout in. So sometimes Tuesday, Thursday are the 2 days that I go 5 a.m., 5:30. I'm out to take my kids to school. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I sleep in. I'll go at 9 a.m. and I do a boot camp training. And that is my time with God. And it's me time where I don't answer my phone. Everybody knows I'm at the gym. And I'm able to get my day started, whether I'm going to the studio, whether I'm going to a property, whether I'm dealing with, the kids. And I actually have to have a calendar because my schedule is really spontaneous. There'll be some times where I'm like, okay, today's a day off. I don't have anything today. And then I'll be like, oh, I got to get to the studio today. I just got to. So it's very up and down. I must say that I have the best support system in family because anytime I switch it up, they're like, oh, we understand. She's in her artist mode right now. We just let her go.
You know, you've accomplished a lot so far in your career, such as singing background vocals for musical icons such as Aretha Franklin, Josh Stone, and you've even opened up for Alicia Keys. And you even portrayed Diana Ross in the Motown hit stage production of Showgirls. Now, you and I touched on this earlier, but with everything that you've accomplished from your early years until now, is there a moment that stands out in your mind that happened to you? An interaction with a fan, something that someone said to you that at the end of the day, when you put your head on your pillow at night and you reflect on that moment and you said to yourself, you know what? This is why I love being in the music industry.
Man, it might sound cliche, but there are many moments where I felt like I wanted to just break down and cry and give thanks because of the gift that God's given me, on top of the great family. The gift, my grandfather always said, a gift is not a gift if you don't use it and you don't give it. So I learned that I have to use my gift in ways that are going to be able to move someone, to make them feel something, an emotion, drawing motion from someone. Like, there have been times where fans are, every show we would end when the Saints go marching in, we do like a gospel song. And then people that they were just drunk and high out of their minds, and they're just singing about God, and they're clapping, and they're, little do they know that the Holy Spirit was with us, and we were all in a moment together. And I would hold back tears. And those moments are so priceless. I literally still see those moments vividly in my mind, like in gratitude, like, well, those people in Switzerland, their lives will never be the same. And we were together, and I was there. I made that imprint in their lives, and they'll never forget. I'll never forget, I was in Japan, and I went to Osaka. We performed in Osaka and Tokyo. And this guy walks up to me. I'm like 22 years old, and I have been touring since like 17, 18. He goes, Soulfia, I love your voice. I've been hearing you sing for since you were little. You were like 17, 18. And I remember when you sang this song. And then I didn't even remember that show in particular. But this guy had been to Germany. He had been to Sweden. He had been to Greenland. He'd been to Greece. He'd been to the Olympics when we performed. And he just remembered. And I was just looking at him like, wow, I'm so grateful that you remember me. I don't remember you, but thank you. So those moments, I'm just like, wow, God, I really have to use my gift, because if my gift is not a gift if I don't give it. So there have been so many moments, but that moment in Japan really stood out to me because like he remembered what I had on, what I sang, and I was like, whoa, all the shows start running back to back. I didn't remember any of it. Mm-hmm. So that was like a moment in time where I was just like, wow, like people are really moved. So I really have to continue to keep soul alive. It's a real thing.
Yes, that's the beauty of how music connects people, not just here in the United States, but internationally as well. Now, we've talked extensively about your rich history in your family pertaining to Motown. And as I understand it, one of your songs was actually recorded on the original equipment at Motown.
Hitsville!
Yes. Now, Detroit is where I live and where Wild FM is located.
Yeah.
And I can say that over the past 20 years, the city of Detroit has undergone a renaissance. How do you see the music industry in Detroit? Do you feel that the Motown brand or the cultural identity that Detroit once had across the United States under Motown is making a comeback? And a follow-up question I would ask you is, what do you feel needs to take place to once again put Detroit back on the map to be the musical hotspot that it once was back in the 60s and the 70s?
That's a wonderful question. Music has so much purpose, structure, discipline. One thing that Barry, Uncle Mickey, Smokey, what they did at the beginning of Motown was create a family environment that had a lot of unity. I don't know if you know this, but Motown even had a song. They had a Motown song that they would all sing together and clap, and they wrote it about the franchise that they were creating and developing. in the late 50s. So the unity that they had when they were creating music, not only were they creating timeless music, they also created class. They also created elegance. They also created a brand that is just not the same anymore. Music has changed so much. I feel like, I guess the younger generation has their own way of expressing emotion. Whereas when Motown was being developed and created, everyone was family. Everyone at that label, worked together, had a vision, and class and elegance that can't be bought and taught. They when they performed, they never wore t-shirts, they never wore jeans. They had on suits, they had on beautiful gowns, and they had their dance routines down. They would really entertain and give a show. Whereas nowadays, some of the Motown artists come out with a track, no drummer, no, and of course their payroll is probably much lower, but at the same time, when Motown was it a Detroit Motown? It was a movement. It was a feeling. It was, I remember being on tour. I was like, can I just wear a t-shirt and jeans? Like, I'm so tired. We've been on tour 6 months. We only have 2 more shows left. My grandfather looked at me in my eyes and he goes, if we're performing in front of 10 people, 10,000 people, or 100,000 people, we're going to give a show. Go and put that glitter dress on and let's get to work. And from that day forward, I realized, there's a difference between classic Motown era and now. Like, and every time I go out there, I don't care. I'm going to give a show. I'm going to wear the glitter, the diamonds, the costume, because that's how I was raised. It's not on me, it's in me. So for your question, Motown has changed so much, and obviously music has also evolved into something that's completely different than what, classic sound used to be. But that's my purpose, to bring soul back and keep soul alive, because, we all need it. We all need to feel a feeling that can't be bought. And so Motown did that for us, and they created an everlasting sound that's timeless and that will always keep in our hearts and minds.
Now, you bring up a great point. Motown truly treated its artists as family, and everyone worked together, supported, and nurtured each other's growth. Soulfia, I can share with you that when I work with music artists here in the city of Detroit, so many will talk to me and say that they wish that the Motown legacy and vibe would return to the city, especially with all of the wonderful things that have taken place, such as the revitalization of Detroit. However, what I myself have witnessed is that a majority of artists, they stay within their own cliques. They refuse to network and collaborate with each other. There seems to be a distinct separation and unwillingness for creatives to come together to work as a collective and as a family. So I feel until artists start to work together and not stay in their own separate cliques, that particular problem is not going to be solved, and, it'll be very, very difficult to restore what Hitsville and Motown used to be in the past within Detroit. Now, as a music artist, how do you personally deal with and overcome challenges and trials that you yourself have faced in the music industry?
Wow, overcoming challenges. My faith is I'm telling you, it's so strong, Mark, that I'm so unbothered. I want to share this with everyone. My aunt Elizabeth is a UCLA Pepperdine graduate. And you know what she told me? I was getting out of my record deal with Universal Republic, and I was 22 years old. And I was just like, I'm a little bit afraid for this, for that. You know what she told me? She said, Sophia, in life, you only have 2 emotions, and it's fear or love. And she said, God is love. If it's not coming from a place of love, then it's fear. So you need to realize exactly where you are, what you want to do, write it down, see it, manifest it, and move in love. Because whatever else you're feeling, it's not of God, because it's of fear. So I try to cast out all fear in everything that I do. And I always, say a prayer before I record anything and ask God to use my voice to give him glory and to allow the listeners to feel a good feeling and make them uplift spirits, because this world is not getting better. It's so divided, and love heals a multitude of sin. And we all could use a little more love. I'm mixed with a little bit of everything, so I just love everyone, and I come from a place of being from a huge family. I mean, I don't care where you're from. I love you. I tell all my fans all the time, I love you guys. Like, you guys are family to me. So that's a big thing for me. I never look things as like a setback. I look at them as a setup for greatness.
I love what you just said, and that is indeed inspiring. I myself work with a lot of female artists and creatives in the music industry. They're chasing their dreams to be singers and producers, and, well, one I work with is actually a DJ. And I can tell you that on this journey, it can be very spiritual and emotional, with disappointments and setbacks. And in some cases, these artists are on their own and they don't have a support system. And I remember some nights I'd get a call at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the artist would call me up frustrated, crying, and wanting to give up. And the artist will tell me they were made promises that were never kept. They were asked by both male and females to compromise their moral integrity, or they were underpaid compared to their male counterparts who, if I'm critical, were less experienced and talented compared to my female artists.
Nothing is impossible with God. We're woman for a reason. The W-O is in front because we're worthy of it all. Once we know our value and we actually walk in it with our chest high, let me tell you something, Mark. We are unstoppable. And nothing is impossible for us. And that's why we can bring forth life. That's why we have to tap into our purpose and our gifts and use them for his glory, because really it's not about us. Everything we do it's about bringing glory back to God and brightening up someone else's day, to let them know that, hey, there's faith, there's joy on the other side, there's love, there's forgiveness, there's all the fruits of the Spirit. So once we get a chance to tap into just complete like joy that can't be bought, and we like just trust in our gifts and don't worry about anything or anybody else. Like I do look at the charts and see like what's number one, and I like to see what's on radio, what's doing well, what artists, and I listen. And if an album drops, like Kehlani's album I love so much, she's really talented, I'll listen, but I never get sidetracked like, oh, I should do this because this person's doing that, or I should, do this, or and I don't get into the sexism side of it too. Like she said, maybe this guy gets paid more. Like, you can't worry about those things because that's just the world we live in, right? If we just focus on our own purpose and ourself, nothing is impossible.
Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and love yourself.
And lock in. Like, people have to understand, like, we have Suno, we have so many AI things, like, we got to do the work. Like, there are times where I'm just like, I shower and I slept 2 or 3 hours, but I'm back at it. I'm back working because I'm locked in. And I know that if I'm not working, someone else is. So I have that work ethic and that drive because my father was an 82nd Airborne, and he was in the military, and he would always instill like determination, hard work, dedication, drive. Like, Soulfia, you've got to be working harder than the person next to you. That's a big deal. So to any aspiring artist or mother or somebody just trying to elevate their careers, like, nothing is impossible. When you have faith and you never quit, you're going to get there.
Now, as we discussed earlier, you're not just a songwriter, singer, dancer, live performer, real estate developer, mother, wife, but you're also an author. And you wrote a book titled Bunzology Body. Can you tell me more about what your book is about?
Oh my goodness, Bunzology Body. Bunzology Body is a positive fitness journey, a personal journey of mine. My grandfather was larger than life. If you look at the world's greatest singers in the world, from Rolling Stone magazine. His name is on there. I think he's like number 78 or something like that, like the best singers in the world. But little do you guys know, he was 500 pounds. So when I moved to Calabasas, California with him, I was like, oh my gosh, like I got to help my grandfather lose weight. So when I was going to school, I was like, I want to be a singer and I want to do television broadcasting and all these things. And I literally was studying kinesiology at first because I wanted to help him lose weight. And that led me into just having a passion to get people healthy, like being on tour with him to see how uncomfortable he was at times and how the weight began to just take a toll. So it took me 9 years to come to this understanding that I really need to write something to help. And then I became a mom. And I just began to write down my journey. And I always had a six-pack. And all of the women would be like, wow, you had a baby, you still have a six-pack. And my husband used to play for the Detroit Lions. And all the moms on the team, they would be like, Sophia, can you work out with me? Can you show me what to eat, what to do? But it really just came from so much discipline and touring with my grandfather, seeing like nutrition is 90%, like what you put into your body. And a lot of people just don't know. They don't understand that it's a science to all of it. So I began to write it down, and it took me a long time. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what? I have time. When I'm not in the studio, I'm going to literally write this book out. So I did. I took 3 months, and I just every day I completed my book, and I took myself back to when I was on tour and times where, things that I had to experience. And then it rolled me into working with Robert Brace. I don't know if you guys know, like The Biggest Loser, or that's a TV show,
Yes.
as well as like Insanity, the workout videos. So I worked for Robert Brace on D28, is similar to Insanity, and I was getting paid like $30,000, and I wasn't doing anything but working out 5 a.m., like 6 people, and I loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are really obese, and I'm helping them lose weight. And in 30 days, my people lost so much weight. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm helping these people. This is so fulfilling to me. Just like music, I feel so fulfilled helping these people get healthy. And I used that experience to put into my book about, everybody's body's different. Everybody processes things differently. And then I literally was like, I'm going back to school to get certified because I need to understand the science behind it. So I did that as well. So I have all of, the knowledge. I'm like, why not write this book? So I pretty much put my life story and all my meal plans into a book form, and it's doing pretty awesome. It's been helping a lot of moms postpartum, really in particular, just kind of get back in shape and get their mental capacity back on track.
Well, most of it is indeed mental. You have to invest in yourself as well as believe in yourself to take that brave step forward towards losing weight and towards better health. Now, Sophia, you've talked about this earlier. You have a new song out, and it's titled, I've Been Good to You. Can you tell me more about that song?
I've Been Good to You came out 2 weeks ago. It's actually doing pretty well. I didn't expect it to because, people nowadays want to hear and cursing. But, that song was a hit from Uncle Smokey in 1953. So it's a classic older song. And we just kind of try to make it modern. And I didn't really want to release the song, but everyone was like, Sophia, this song is different and we love it. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens. So it was released about 2 weeks ago, and I performed it at a birthday party to one of the music pioneers in the music game, like an investor. And then everyone loved it. So I'm like, I guess I should just listen a long time ago and released it. So that song is out and it's doing fairly well. I didn't expect it to because, like I said before, it's very clean. It's a nice way to say, you were mean to me, you broke my heart, but I've been good to you. So I was asking Uncle Smokey, like, how did you write this song? Because obviously you went through a heartbreak, his whole story about it. But the Temptations covered it. Brenda Holloway, who was also on Motown, covered it. But our version is just a little bit modern for today's radio.
What I'd like to do now is play your latest release for our listeners, titled, I've Been Good to You, right here on Artist Spotlight.
Look what you've done. You made a fool out of someone who thought love was true and found that you were just having fun. Oh, why do you wanna make me so blue? After all, I've been good to you. Oh, yes, I have. For a long, long time. You needed someone, and I made you mine. You needed a friend, so I took you in and treated you kind. Oh, why do you wanna make me blue? After all, I've been good to you. I've been too good to you. I have always been around, and I have never let you down. So now you're telling me that you have to go, and it hurts me so. But there'll come a time, one day, you wake up and find you'll come back to me on bending knees, and you're gonna be crying. Oh, why do you wanna make me blue? After all, I've been good to you. I've been good to you, baby. Oh, I've been too good to you. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you wanna do is alright with me. You make me feel so brand new. And I wanna spend my whole life with you, baby. Since we've been together, oh boy, loving you forever is what I need. Let me be the one you come running to, and I'll never be untrue. Baby, let's stay together. to me. Just being around you is all I see. Here's what I wanna do. We ought to stay together, loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Let's stay together, loving you whether times are good, bad, happy or sad. Don't wanna be apart from you. Just wanna spend my life with you. Don't wanna be apart from you. Just wanna share my world with you. Don't wanna be apart from you. Just wanna spend my life with you. Whether times are good or bad, just wanna share my world with you.
That was Soulfia singing Let's Stay Together, which is a song that was originally recorded by Al Green. And the song before that was Soulfia's latest release titled I've Been Good to You. Now, when you look ahead in your musical journey, what are your plans for the future?
My plans for the future have so much purpose and so much, I guess I would say, love in ways that I can't even explain and describe. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And that's just a beautiful lyric to one of my favorite songs. Whatever I release and whatever I sing, it's going to have meaning, purpose, and it's going to have love, because I just feel like there's so many ways that we could get our art out and we could make a difference. But my purpose and my passion is to really feel every song that I record and to allow someone else, the listener, to feel better. Because there's so much music out now, and we can bust windows out cars, and we can do these things, and that'll make us feel better for the moment. But from bad, we can't get good. We can only get good from doing great and being a good person. So I try to just stay on course and stay positive and stay in love and stay in light, and everything I record just kind of be uplifting. Of course, I have those breakup songs and the sad songs, but at the same time, at the end, just like I've been good to you, it's like, even though you hurt me, I've still been good to you. So just to be able to be a positive light, because we need it, Mark. We need it so badly right now in this world. And to keep soul alive, that's what I see for myself, just to continue to keep soul alive in a positive way, and just to be a beacon of light for the world.
You know, Soulfia, the one thing that touches me when I hear you sing is that your voice touches my heart and my soul. When I listen to you sing, I feel the depth, the emotion, the heartbreak. I feel the joy from your delivery. I feel your emotions, passion, and your soul when you sing. And that is a God-given talent. And I strongly encourage my listeners to listen to your music. I feel that they will also be taken on an emotional journey that can lift themselves up, console them, or inspire them. And when I listen to your music and when I hear you sing, those are the things that stay within my heart and my mind.
Mark, you just made my entire year, my entire life. I love you. Thank you for that.
Well, Soulfia, it's important that you hear that from someone on the outside, separate from your family, on how your God-given talent makes a difference in someone's life. Now, where can my listeners go to discover your music, learn more about your musical journey, as well as purchase your book titled Bunzology Body, as well as purchase your latest release titled I've Been Good to You?
Awesome. I have a website. It's just sophiaperez.com. And my Instagram is Soulfia, Soulfia, one, like the number one. It's just like one. And then my music is Soulfia Music One. So it's all connected. You'll see it all there once you pull it up, Soulfia One. And my website, all the music that's actually out and released is on my website. The book is there, a synopsis to my life, my testimony, my story. It's all there. And I also have a message box there, and I'll be able to reach out to you if you have questions or you need anything. If you send me a message on my website, or you can DM me. I try messages when I can, but I'm here. Whatever you guys need, however I can serve. I always say that I'm a servant. That's exactly what I'm here to do, is serve others.
Soulfia, I want to say that speaking to you today, for me, has been a blessing and truly inspirational. I feel so many independent artists will benefit from your words, your experience, and your story. And Soulfia, I want to thank you so very, very much for speaking with me on Artist Spotlight.
Mark, from the bottom of my soul, thank you for taking out the time. You are just serving in a way that all artists really, 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 like, we need you. We need amazing, wise servants and just amazing beings like you who we know just want to be here to help and serve. And so just thank you for taking out the time. This was an amazing interview. I had a lot of fun. You made me laugh and cry at the same time. So thank you.
Okay,
You have some great radio voice, Mark, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I just have to put in a disclaimer here that I did not sing to you to make you cry in agony. But sincerely speaking, human beings like you that walk the earth are so desperately needed. And I hope that you always remember that if you ever face a challenge, just remember that you are cherished, not just as a woman, a singer, or an author, but as a human being. So thank you, Soulfia, for just being you.
Oh, Mark, thank you so much. And to all the listeners, continue to tune in. Mark is one of my favorites, and this station is just doing amazing things and amazing work. So thank you guys once again.
You're so very welcome. Yes. Thank you so much, Sophia.